Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Faith and I welcome you all back to this channel being Money Smart. For those guys who are new, karibuni sana, and I will strongly urge you to make sure that you subscribe in order for you to know every time that I post a new video. Thank you so much. So for this week, we are going to talk about something that I find to be really innovative and something that will benefit almost everyone that you can think of in Kenya. So yes, if this is the kind of content that you enjoy, get ready for more of this. All right, so over the last 1 week, I've been seeing people, discussing, and you've even seen adverts, you received SMSs on something called M-Akiba. And I was intrigued when I saw a question by someone asking what is M-Akiba. So I thought, why not go and make a video and try to explain as much as possible in regard to this particular subject. So today we are going to discuss M-Akiba. So to start us off with, I will do a number of definitions, and I will tend to do this in most part of the video. So if I come up with a term that might be general to some people, I am also aware that there are people who don't know some of these terms, so I'll take some time to explain the terms in general. So to start us off, our first term is a bond. Now, M-Akiba is a government bond, and it is a bond that is issued through a mobile phone. But what is a bond really? A bond refers to a loan that is taken from a people, and mostly these loans are usually taken by the government. So every time the government takes money from its own people through the Central Bank of Kenya, in this case, because we're talking about the Kenyan environment, we will be referring to it as a bond, right? And bonds can be issued by either the government or the private sector. So if it's issued by the private sector, you'll see it being called a corporate bond. Otherwise, it's called a government bond or just a bond. And a bond is a loan. It is a loan that is taken by the government. And who are the people who are loaning the government? It's the people. So M-Akiba is the same kind of concept. The government, people sat down and, they saw that they usually issue bonds every other time. And when I say issue, I mean they give out bonds to people. Or they put a notice out there and tell people, we want to raise money. Come and give us your money by buying into this particular bond. So the government usually issues out loans. If you go to the CBK site right now, you'll be able to see a number of bonds that have been given out by the government over the years and the ones that are currently being given out. So that is the conventional way that the government gets money from its people. However, I think they sat down and they saw that there is a market segment that is usually locked out of, the conventional going to the CBK to buy a bond sort of thing. So they thought, why not come up with a product that will be able to meet this particular market? And that's how M-Akiba was born, because M-Akiba is still the same concept. It's a bond, but the only difference is that the minimum requirement is way lower. So the minimum requirement in this case is 3,000, and a normal bond from the government of Kenya CBK minimum requirement is 50,000. So that means that basically anyone who has money, 3,000 and above, can be able to invest in this particular bond. Number two, it is issued through a mobile phone. So that means that you really don't have to go to CBK. You see the struggles and hassles of going to CBK to open a CDS account, going to your bank to get a letter of authorization with your account showing that this is where the money will move from and will be coming to when you're paying interest. That whole process is eradicated through M-Akiba. So really, they've just come up with a convenient method of buying bonds with a low entry level in terms of the amount that you can put in. So just an overview of the M-Akiba. As I said, it is a bond. It is issued through your mobile phone. The minimum you can invest in is 3,000 Kenya shillings. And you need to do this using M-Pesa. So you need to put the 3,000 in your M-Pesa. When you press the USSD code, and in this case, the USSD code for M-Akiba is *889#. When you press that, you'll be prompted to do a number of things. One of the things that you will definitely need is your ID number. So that means that you cannot buy the loan without your ID number, because I think that is what will be used to identify you and to sort of open a CDS account for you in the background. But you don't have to physically fill a form or take it. No, that does not exist. The maximum you can do in a day is 140,000 Kenya shillings, and this is because of the limit on M-Pesa. However, you can do as much as possible, as much as you want, on the following day, in terms of 140, 140, 140, right? So the reason why I love this particular bond, guys, is because within 3 minutes or 5 minutes, when you're sitting in your bed, you can actually buy a bond. How convenient is that? The hustle. Okay, I know I am made to understand that things have really improved at the CBK, but generally the hustle, imagine leaving your house, going to CBK, getting lines, having to fill a form, being told you've not filled this part correctly, having to go to your bank, let them verify and actually acknowledge this is the account number where the money is going to be coming from. Gosh, it's a hassle, but you just want to invest, right? So if you get something that allows you to simply dial a number and get all these things done, then you should be excited. So M-Akiba is not that new, guys. If you're anyone who likes this kind of information like me, M-Akiba was issued the first time in 2017 by the government. That is when they had the first issue. Yes, it was in 2017. And the concept was the same. 3,000 was the minimum. People bought into the bond. The uptake was not as anticipated, but I believe that more and more people are now becoming aware of the product, and more people are investing in it. There are people who've raised concerns in terms of, how sure am I'm not going to lose my money, or what if they disappear? I'm going to tell you something, guys, in regards to the government. I know our country is facing a lot of issues, and there are issues to do with corruption, but generally speaking, even the most corrupt countries, when you see a country has gone to a level where the government cannot pay its bonds, then it is really, really bad. So what I'm trying to say is that it's actually a safe investment, and bonds are usually one of the products that are graded as low risk, because the chances that the government will default, and by defaulting I mean that the government will fail to pay you back your money, is very low. So such concerns, guys, no, the government is not going to run away with your money. It is not. The government has been issuing out bonds for so long, and even before it gets to a point of doing like Eurobond, whereby now they issue a bond out of the country, of course there are ratings, and they have to be assessed and all these things. So it's not easy for the government to just default, and if at all it defaults, then it is really bad. So a bond is one of the things that you are really, really sure that you will be able to get back your money, and people will not go MIA with your money. So those people with that concern, kindly note that no, it's not that easy. It's not that easy for the government to run away with your money. So back to M-Akiba. So I think I've mentioned that the minimum you can do is 3,000. I've also mentioned that the interest rate, the coupon rate is 10%. Coupon is simply interest rate. It's just that is the word that they want to use when they're referring to bonds for whatever reason. But anytime you see someone saying coupon, just know they're saying interest. So the interest rate for this particular bond is 10%. Meaning, when you give the government your 3,000, they will give you back your 3,000 plus 10% of it every year. So 3,000 plus 10% of 3,000 is 300 bob. So ideally, you should get 3,300 when your bond matures. But now this is the tricky part. I don't want to confuse you guys. This 300 is not given once by the government. It's given every 2 times a year. Yeah? Every 6 months. So for that 300, you'll be getting 150 in every 6 months, 150 after every 6 months. Because that's how bonds generally operate. Bonds operate in such a manner that every 6 months, an interest payment is paid out. So if you put 10,000 shillings, for example, the 10% will be 1,000 Kenya shillings, and this 1,000 will not be given to you once, it will be given to you 2 times in a year. So you'll get 500 after 6 months, 500 after 6 months. 6 plus 6 months is equals to 1 year. So basically that's how it works. If you put in 50,000, you get 5,000, divide by 2, 25, 25. 100,000, 10,000, 5,000, 5,000. 200,000, 20,000, 10,000, 10,000. 1 million, 100,000, 50,000, 50,000. You get the drift, guys. So calculate your 10% per year, guys. Please. I've seen people saying you get 10% per month. I'm like, gosh. Aki inawezekana, how is this possible? Because I want you to show me where I can get 10% a month. Niende huko. There is nowhere where they're giving people 10% a month. And the conventional thing, when someone tells you about a rate, they simply mean per year. Don't ever assume that it means per month, per 6 months, especially now that I've said they pay people every 6 months. No. A rate is always per year. So if you want to calculate it per month, divide by 12. If you want to calculate it per 6 months, divide it by 2. If you want to calculate it by, 3 months, divide it by 4. Yeah, and so on and so forth. So do note that the rate is paid per year. Right? So the government sent out text to people. I think you got it as well. They were saying that the deadline for M-Akiba is 10th March. So I'm going to clarify on this. When the government when it opens its doors for people to come and buy from the government directly, it gives out a certain duration of time. It tells you can come directly to me as the government and buy your bonds within this time frame. However, because the government has other things that they need to be doing, they have other bonds they need to issue, they have other planning they need to do, right? They cannot be there the whole year. So it means that you cannot simply decide on the 25th of May is when I'm going to buy my M-Akiba from the government directly. It's not going to work. So that 10th deadline was basically saying, if you want to buy directly from the government, your deadline is this particular day. And I hope I'm able to upload this video before 10th, right? But just in case I'm not able to, or just in case you're seeing this video after the 10th, yes, you can still buy into the M-Akiba bond, but the only difference is you will not be buying directly from the government. This is just for people who are interested in the whole concept of the bond. But if you're not interested in it, really, when you're dialing *889# and you're buying the bond, you won't even notice who you're buying from. You won't know, so it's fine. If you want to proceed and buy, just buy. Really, there's no difference. But after the 10th, what is going to happen is this. The government is now going to allow this particular bond to be bought and sold on the stock exchange, on the market now. So that means someone who bought this bond from the government directly, and 1 month later they feel like, no, I don't think I want to stay with this bond anymore. It means that they can sell. However, if the government was just to close and decide, no, that's it, it means that guys who bought cannot be able to come out of the bond, and you cannot sell directly to the government. The government does not have time to be buying and selling from people. For them, they know we are selling out this bond for 3 years, then after 3 years is when you're going to come back and buy back from the people. However, in between, every 6 months, we'll just be sending out payments, interest payments, yeah? So if you're one of these people who's bought, just know that you can still go to the secondary market after the 10th deadline and sell your bond. Or if you've not bought, you can go to the secondary market and buy from someone else. So if you press *889#, you will realize that you have a stockbroker if you check your account. So guys, make sure when you go to the M-Akiba platform, you check every other aspect. I've checked every other part of that thing, and I think I know it like this. I know who my stockbroker is because I bought into the first issue, which was in 2017, and I bought the bond twice. There were 2 issues between that period. There were 2 issues, and I bought into both of them. So you need to be aware of what is happening with your money. You need to check and know who is your broker. What are they doing? Can you sell your bond if need be? And the answer is yes. How are they going to charge you? You're going to see all this information when you go to the M-Akiba website. So make sure you also go there and get all this information, know everything before you make an investment. Always be aware of, I usually say be aware of like 99%, if not 100. Yeah. Of course, things usually happen at times, but just generally be aware of the main pointers. Yeah, and something else that I almost forgot to mention is that this 10% is tax-free. Show me an investment in Kenya that is tax-free and is 10%. I don't think there's any, to be honest. I don't think there's any. So this is an assured 10%. That's what I mean. An assured 10%, and you're not paying any tax. So it's a very good bond, guys. If you've been wanting to save, this is a very good opportunity for you to go for. And if, for example, I tell those guys who've been doing the 52 weeks challenge, so far you've saved quite an amount of money, right? So instead of leaving it wherever it is that you're saving, especially if it's in a piggy bank or even a bank account, guys, do you know what is the interest percentage in your savings account? Like, go to your bank today and ask them, how much am I getting out of putting my money in your account with you? Well, if you're using a current account, you're getting 0 for a fact. That one I know, spread across all banks. Then if you have a savings account, initially when they reduce the, what are they called, the rates, in terms of the government putting a cap on the rates on what a bank can charge you, it was also supposed to translate to savings, of which it did for a while. Then I think the banks sat down and saw, hey, we can't be paying out this much interest for savings account. So what they did, they came up with a sort of a tiered thing, whereby they say, if you have this amount to this amount, you'll get this much. If you have this amount to this amount, you'll get this much. And they've done it in such a way that the only way you will make anything significant is if you put millions and millions in your account. So it locks out so many guys. Basically what I'm trying to say, instead of leaving your money in that account doing nothing, siko baya, put it in the M-Akiba. You will get 10% at no tax. Even guys in circles are now being taxed. In fact, I saw that they've increased the rate for dividends. You're taxed. Yeah. The general rate for capital gains and interest is around 15%. You know, it's always been 15%. So if you find there's an investment option that will give you your money without taking that 15% as tax, you should be grateful, and M-Akiba is one of them. So guys, I want to see someone coming back to me and telling me they have bought into the M-Akiba, you know, they're enjoying the fruits, or it's giving them that discipline that they need in order to save. And yeah, just be aware of new things that are happening in the market, things that are of benefit to you, and things that are safe. So the only reason why I'm making a video on M-Akiba is because really it is a safe option out there. It's issued by the government, and you can be sure that your money is not gonna get lost. But that does not mean that you should buy into the bond and forget about it. Please also keep checking. It's good to just know and to have a screenshot of, you know, of your amount. Like for example, when I bought into in the what is it called, the bond in 2017, as I said, there were 2 issues. So I bought in the first one and the second one. Then after some time, I decided to check my account, and I realized the first bond is not there. So I was like, what happened to my money? Where is my money? You know, and I saw some people complaining online. I think there are guys who are like, their money got lost, but really what happened is that they were moved from the issue. So if you look at issue number 1, you'd see your amount is 0, but if you look at issue number 2, you see all the money has been moved to that particular area. I don't know why the government did that. Really, it sort of confused people. So if there's anyone from the M-Akiba team, and if you happen to stumble on this video, don't pull such stunts, because you only instill fear in people. Just let things be the way they are. When I go into my account, when I press my, check my account using the USSD code, I should be able to see how I saved that money. I should be able to see how I bought into the bond. So if it was in 2 issues, I should see 2 transactions. If it was in 3 issues, like that, you get what I mean, yeah? So basically that's it. Whew, I feel like I've talked quite a lot, but then I feel like I've explained M-Akiba in the most simple terms. I've not been technical. I've not used any jargon. So guys, I want to see you investing, and let's achieve these financial goals together. Thank you so much for watching, and keep it here, and don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for coming to my channel. Bye.